So I'm Mark Jobst. I am a father and a director of film and television. I studied agriculture at Newcastle in 1980 to 1983, so a very long time ago. My favourite memories of Newcastle are many. There's very little that I didn't love about being here. You know, here we are, what is it? It's February, it's freezing cold, it's bitter outside. I even remember kind of loving that walk back from the centre of town to Fenham, where I lived on Wingrove Avenue, and that sense of that kind of wrapping up cold and then getting back into my flat. I love the landscape that's around this city, the sea, the Cheviot Hills, and I loved the fact that there was the Theatre Royal, and then there was the Playhouse, and there's the Gulbenkian Studio, and there's the Tyneside Cinema, and there used to be the side gallery of exhibitions, so you had this kind of incredible culture and art around the place, surrounded by accessible landscapes, which for me was heaven. The rhythm of my days used to be go into lectures, lunchtime, go to the gym, come out, have a stotty that was like rammed with coleslaw and ham or cheese, and then a pint of milk. And that's what my lunch was. And that would see me through for the rest of the afternoon until the evening when I might get a little bit more. But yeah, that was the rhythm of my day, and I remember it incredibly fondly. Tom Richardson, who was here with me, he and I formed a theatre company called the Three Monkeys Theatre Company whilst we were here. And when we finished our degrees, we decided that we would just give it a go. And we made a show together called The Withered Arm, which was an adaptation of Thomas Hardy short story, and it became very successful. And we were on the road and started touring. But I needed to earn some money, and so that's when I started to use my agriculture to get back into television. And I got a job at Tyne Tees Television here back at Newcastle at the farming programme, and then was asked to come down to the BBC to set up Countryfile in the early days, in the very first season. I flew out to America, and when I landed in Los Angeles, I had a text message from a producer I'd worked with in the UK, Steve Lightfoot. And he said, would I be interested in shooting Hannibal? He was a co-showrunner on it. And I didn't know the show, but I saw it was Mads Mikkelsen and Lawrence Fishburne and Gillian Anderson. I said, yeah, sure. Suddenly I was on the set with these extraordinary actors, daring to believe that I could direct them. Hannibal, because of its sensibility and its cinematic tone, pushed me creatively in a way that I'd never been pushed before. And then the producers from Hannibal then moved over to Marvel Studios, and they enjoyed working with me, so they said, would I be interested in coming and joining them on the Marvel shows? And so I moved on to that. It's so weird for me, because I'm a director who traditionally has done very intense human dramas, and suddenly I was being, you know, called on as an action director, and sort of a world-building action director, and that's sort of where it's gone. And I really haven't searched for that. It's just come my way, and suddenly I'm doing all these big shows like The Witcher and One Piece. Yeah. I thought The Witcher had a big fan base, but One Piece is huge and passionate. And one of the things that I learned when we were casting this is that One Piece means something to people. It's not just popular, it's popular because, as many of the actors would say to me, you know, this has seen me through some really dark times. So to work on a show which is big and crazy and fun and playful and action orientated, but also at its heart has something that really matters to people, that's a real privilege as a filmmaker. and you really want to honour that. The purpose of season 1 was to say the treasure is out there and your journey is to go and get that treasure, but really it's about finding the treasure inside yourself. And the journey is about saying we are found family, we're better off together than we are apart, and I will help you find your treasure. And the adventures basically become how they discover who they are and who they are to each other. So now in season 2, what you want is these further adventures with these new characters coming in to pressure cooker that. If you want to get into the industry, you have to be very determined. There's no question about it. But I would say it's not an exclusive industry. There's space for everybody. There are so many different ways to express yourself on a film set. There's the director, there's the producer, there's the writer. For sure, we know about those. There's also the construction workers. There's the production designers. There's the hair and the makeup team. If you can get a job running, get there and listen and learn. If you want to become a filmmaker, do it. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door saying, you need to be in the film business. I think you'd make a great director. It just doesn't happen like that. You've got to prove that you can tell a story. And my advice would be to make a short film, and a short film. Anything longer than 10 minutes is almost too long. It doesn't have to be a perfect piece. It just has to show that you have the ability, because what we're always looking for all the time is young people coming up, whatever their voice is, whatever their diversity is. We need young people's stories and experiences of the world, because telling stories is how we learn how to be human. Don't sit with the greatest film in your head. Make it.